the galaxy was in chaos. For centuries, different alien species had fought for control of planets, resources, and power. But now, a new threat had emerged, something far worse than anything anyone had ever seen. The Draxans, a ruthless and technologically advanced alien species, had come to conquer. They didn't just want planets, they wanted to wipe out entire civilizations, leaving nothing but destruction in their wake. The Draxans were a terror to the galaxy. Their ships were larger than anything the galaxy's strongest armies had ever built. Their weapons could shatter entire worlds, and their armies were nearly unstoppable. In their wake, they left only ruins and ash. All the powerful alien empires that had once dominated the galaxy had failed to stop them. The T-Layer, the Jodrax, and the Vrix, the galaxy's greatest and most advanced species, had all tried. They had fought bravely, using every weapon and strategy at their disposal. But the Draxans had crushed them all. Desperate, the surviving civilizations held a summit. Leaders from every corner of the galaxy gathered to discuss how to stop the Draxans. The once proud fleets of the T-Layer, Jodrax, and Vrix had been shattered. The few remaining forces were scattered and leaderless. It seemed like there was no hope left. That's when a signal was sent, a call for help. Not to other advanced alien races, but to the humans of Earth. The humans were considered weak, unimportant, and primitive. They had never been involved in galactic affairs and were seen as far behind in technology compared to the rest of the galaxy. But the leaders of the galaxy had no choice. They needed every bit of help they could get. And so, the humans were called upon. First, the galaxy's leaders expected nothing. They believed the humans would send a few ships, at most nothing more than a symbolic gesture. They had no idea how wrong they were. The humans, led by General Sarah Cole, answered the call with an unexpected determination. Earth's technology may not have been as advanced as the T-Layers, but humans had something far more valuable: their will to survive. The human military, though small in number compared to the galaxy's other forces, was highly trained and resourceful. And they had never faced an enemy like the Draxans. Sarah Cole knew that the odds were stacked against them. The Draxans were ruthless and didn't care who or what they destroyed. But she also knew that humanity had faced worse situations in its history and had survived through sheer grit. She gathered her fleet of human ships, simple but effective, and prepared for what could be the final battle. The first battle between humanity and the Draxans was a surprise. The Draxans had underestimated Earth. They thought they could easily wipe out the human fleet, as they had done with the alien races. But what they didn't expect was humanity's unconventional thinking. The humans didn't fight like the alien armies. They didn't rely on sheer firepower alone. Instead, they used the terrain of space to their advantage. The humans were experts at guerrilla warfare, fighting in unexpected ways, using distractions and traps to confuse their enemies. When the Draxan fleet attacked, the humans fought back with everything they had. They used their smaller, faster ships to outmaneuver the Draxans' massive warships. They attacked in waves, hitting key Draxan targets, and then retreating before the Draxans could react. Humans also used their knowledge of space to set traps, luring the Draxans into narrow asteroid fields, where their larger ships couldn't move as easily. First, the Draxans thought it was a fluke. But as the battles continued, they realized they had underestimated their human enemies. The Draxans had superior firepower, but the humans were more adaptable, more willing to take risks, and more relentless in their pursuit of victory. And the humans never gave up. No matter how badly they were outnumbered, they fought with everything they had. The war raged on for months. The humans took part in countless battles, always finding new ways to strike at the Draxans. They managed to sabotage Draxan supply lines, steal valuable intelligence, and even hijack a few of their ships. The humans were proving that they were more than just a nuisance. They were a force to be reckoned with. The turning point came when the humans discovered a weakness in the Draxan fleet. The Draxan warships, despite their overwhelming power, had a major flaw. They were heavily reliant on a single vulnerable energy core. If that core was destroyed, the entire ship would be rendered useless. The humans launched a daring plan to take down one of the largest Draxan warships. General Cole's fleet went in, risking everything. They launched a surprise attack, targeting the energy core of the Draxan flagship. The battle was intense, with the humans fighting tooth and nail to break through the Draxan's defenses. But in the end, they succeeded. The Draxan flagship exploded in a brilliant flash of light, sending shockwaves across the battlefield. It was a victory for humanity and a crushing blow to the Draxan war effort. The Draxans, realizing that they could not win this war, began to retreat. The humans had broken their spirit. The galaxy's greatest civilizations, once filled with pride, now looked to Earth as the true saviors of the galaxy. Humanity had not only survived against impossible odds, but had turned the tide in the war. In the end, the Draxans were defeated. The surviving alien races came together to rebuild the galaxy, with humanity taking a leading role. The once weak, primitive humans were now respected as the greatest warriors in the galaxy. The galaxy had learned a valuable lesson: never underestimate the power of humanity's will to survive. The humans had proven that, even in the darkest of times, they could rise to the occasion and become the heroes the galaxy needed. The galaxy was in a state of peace at least. It seemed peaceful. For centuries, the galaxy's most advanced species had governed the stars with their high-tech spaceships, vast knowledge, and powerful militaries. The T-Layer, a highly intelligent species with near-invincible warships, the Jodrax, known for their immense size and strength, and the Vrix, who controlled entire star systems with their powerful mind-control technology, had established a fragile balance. These powerful races ruled over countless worlds and kept the peace with force when needed. The smaller species were protected under their rule, and the galaxy seemed safe. But peace, as always, was only an illusion. The peace was shattered when an ancient force, something no one could have predicted, began to destabilize the galaxy. It was a mysterious force called the Shroud. No one knew its origins. Some believed it was a force of nature, others feared it was a weapon created by a forgotten species, long extinct. The Shroud was unlike anything the galaxy's greatest civilizations had ever faced. It could cut through the strongest shields, warp space itself, and slowly, without warning, it began to break apart the galaxy's greatest empires. At first, the empires thought it was a fluke. A natural disaster, perhaps. But as more and more star systems were thrown into chaos and entire planets disappeared without a trace, it became clear that this wasn't just a random occurrence. The Shroud wasn't a natural disaster. It was a threat unlike any other. The T-Lar, the Jodrax, and the Vrix tried everything they could think of. They sent their best scientists and warriors to find out what the Shroud was and how to stop it. But no matter what they did, they failed. Every time they tried to confront the Shroud, their ships vanished into thin air. Their weapons had no effect. They were helpless. It was then that the galaxy's leaders realized something they had never expected. They had lost control. The once powerful and proud alien empires who had ruled the galaxy for centuries were being crushed by something they didn't understand. It was humbling, terrifying, and they couldn't stop. In desperation, they did something unthinkable. They put out a call for help, not to their fellow advanced species, but to the humans of Earth. Humans were seen as a primitive species. They had only recently begun exploring space and were far behind in terms of technology. The galaxy's other civilizations saw them as weak and insignificant. Why would anyone turn to them for help? But when the Shroud began to consume more and more star systems, even the proudest of empires realized they had no choice. They needed help. The humans, led by General Sarah Cole, were stunned. They had never been part of galactic politics, and their technology was nothing compared to what the galaxy's great empires had. But humans had something the aliens didn't, something the galaxy's greatest species had forgotten over time: ingenuity. While the alien species fought with brute strength and advanced weapons, humans were known for their ability to think outside the box. They were resourceful, quick to adapt, and determined when faced with impossible odds. General Cole gathered the human fleet, which consisted of simple but reliable ships. The fleet was small, only a fraction of the size of the T-Layer or Jodrax armies, but it was all they had. Despite the overwhelming odds, Sarah Cole believed that humans could make a difference. They had to. The fate of the galaxy depended on it. The human fleet moved out. As they approached, they could feel the power of the shroud. It was unlike anything they had ever seen, a force that twisted reality itself. No one knew how to stop it, but humans knew they had to try. The humans didn't attack the shroud head-on like the other races had. Instead, they began studying it. They observed the pattern of destruction it caused and realized that the shroud wasn't invincible, it was just unpredictable. While the other species had tried to overpower it, human scientists and engineers worked day and night, developing new weapons and technologies that could counteract the shroud. They didn't have the advanced weapons of the T-layer, but they had something better: human creativity. They built specialized shields that could bend the shroud's energy, and they designed ships that could navigate through the chaos created by the shroud's disturbances. They didn't stop there. Humans found a way to communicate with other species that had been caught in the shroud's path. They formed alliances with those who had survived, and, together, they pooled their knowledge and resources. It was the first time in galactic history that all races had worked together in such a way, and it was the humans who led the charge. Using their new technology and their alliances, the humans made their move. They didn't try to destroy the shroud directly. Instead, they used their understanding of its patterns to create a massive network of devices that weakened the shroud's grip on the galaxy. They disrupted its energy flow and stopped its spread. It wasn't a total victory, but it was enough. The shroud began to retreat. As the galaxy's greatest empires watched, they realized that it wasn't their advanced weapons or technology that had saved them, it was human ingenuity. The shroud had been something none of them had been able to control, but the humans, with their simple tools and clever thinking, had done what the rest of the galaxy could not. In the end, the shroud was no longer a threat, and the galaxy slowly began to rebuild. The alien empires, who had once dismissed humans as weak and insignificant, now saw them in a new light. Humanity had saved the galaxy, and the once dominant species had learned a valuable lesson. They had lost control, but humans had found a way to take it back. The galaxy would never forget the lesson it had learned. When faced with an impossible force, it was not the strongest or the most advanced that could overcome it, but those who were willing to think differently, adapt, and never give up. Humans had proven that sometimes the greatest power in the galaxy isn't technology, it's the human mind. In a distant corner of the galaxy, a powerful alien race known as the Siths had risen to dominate the stars. With their superhuman abilities, advanced technologies, and nearly indestructible fleets, they had defeated every enemy that dared to challenge them. The galaxy's greatest civilizations, advanced species like the T-layer, the Vrix, and the Jodrax, had all fallen under their rule. The Siths were ruthless, and no one seemed capable of standing up to them. The galaxy had grown silent, its once thriving planets now under the shadow of the Sith Empire. But the Siths had one weakness. They were overconfident. They believed their power was unmatched, their technology superior. They had crushed every resistance they had encountered, and they assumed the galaxy's future was in their hands. But they had not counted on one thing: humanity. Humans were nothing like the alien races the Siths had faced. Earth was a relatively young planet, and humanity's technology was primitive compared to the mighty Sith war machines. Yet, humans were fighters, resilient, unpredictable, and always ready to do whatever it took to protect their home. The Siths had underestimated them, assuming that the humans were too weak, too divided, to pose any threat. But they were wrong. The first signs of trouble for the Siths came when humanity, led by General Sarah Cole, responded to a distress call from a distant planet that had fallen under Sith control. The human fleet was small, barely a match for the powerful Sith forces. But Sarah Cole had something that the Siths lacked: determination. She was a soldier, a leader who had faced overwhelming odds before and had never backed down. When General Cole's fleet arrived, the Siths mocked them. Their massive warships towered over the small human ships, and the Sith warriors were more powerful than anything humans had encountered. But the humans had an edge: their ability to think on their feet. Instead of rushing into battle head-on, they used guerrilla tactics, drawing the Sith forces into a trap. The humans' smaller, faster ships struck from unexpected angles, causing confusion among the Sith rank. They didn't fight like the Siths expected. The humans weren't trying to match them in firepower. They were trying to outsmart them. In the first skirmish, the humans didn't defeat the Siths, but they made an impression. The Siths were used to crushing their enemies in seconds, but here was an enemy who fought back, who didn't give up. The human fleet withdrew, but the Siths knew they had just faced something different. It was the first time the mighty Siths had felt doubt. Word spread across the galaxy. The Siths, who had long ruled with an iron fist, began to notice that other planets were starting to fight back as well. Small resistance groups formed on worlds that had been conquered. These groups were led by humans who had experienced the horrors of the Sith Empire firsthand. With each victory, the humans grew bolder, more confident, and more capable. They were learning to adapt quickly, using the Sith's own technology against them. They had no choice but to evolve faster than their enemies. Soon, the human-led resistance had grown into a full-scale rebellion. Humanity's military technology had improved dramatically, and they began to outmatch the Sith forces in key battles. The humans were not just surviving, they were winning. And they were winning not because they had superior weapons or overwhelming numbers, but because they fought with heart, with passion, and with a belief that they could defeat the unbeatable. As the Siths began to lose ground, they became more desperate. They sent their greatest warriors, the elite of their species, to crush the human resistance once and for all. These elite Sith warriors were equipped with the most advanced armor and weaponry, and they were known for their unmatched strength and power. But when they clashed with the humans, something unexpected happened. The humans didn't falter. They didn't retreat. They fought back with everything they had, using their knowledge of their enemies' weaknesses to turn the tide. General Sarah Cole led the final battle. The Siths had gathered their remaining forces to make one last stand. It would be a fight to the death. The humans, though outnumbered, were determined to win. Cole's strategy was simple yet brilliant. Strike fast, hit hard, and never let the Siths regain control. As the battle raged on, the human fleet coordinated a series of devastating blows to the Sith's power core, a weakness that they had discovered after months of fighting. One by one, the Sith ships began to fall. In the final moments, with the Sith forces in retreat, General Cole made a daring move. She led a small team of soldiers onto the Sith flagship, where the leader of the Sith Empire awaited. It was an intense confrontation, but in the end, humanity's will proved stronger. The Sith Emperor was defeated, and with his fall, the Sith Empire began to crumble. The galaxy was free. After the battle, the galaxy's other civilizations, once dismissive of humanity, now looked at the humans with awe and respect. The T-Lair, the Vrix, and the Jodrax, all of them had underestimated humans. But it was humanity that had saved them all. The humans had proven that sometimes it wasn't the strongest or most technologically advanced species that could win a war, it was the species that refused to give up. Humanity became the new heroes of the galaxy. Not because they had the best weapons or the greatest technology, but because they had something far more important: the will to fight, the courage to face overwhelming odds, and the belief that they could change the future. The Siths had been defeated, and the galaxy's new heroes had risen. For centuries, Earth had remained a quiet, isolated planet in the vast expanse of the galaxy. While the civilizations of the stars grew more advanced, Earth's human inhabitants focused on their own development. Humans were aware of alien life, but for the most part, they lived in peaceful ignorance of the galactic conflicts raging beyond their atmosphere. They had no idea what they were about to face. It all began when a powerful alien race known as the Karath arrived in Earth's orbit. The Karath were massive, fearsome beings with technology that far surpassed anything humanity had ever seen. Their ships were giant, their weapons could level cities in a single blast, and their warriors were nearly unstoppable. They had conquered dozens of planets and had destroyed countless civilizations in their quest for dominance. Earth, with its relatively primitive technology, was an easy target. The Karath arrived without warning, launching an attack on the planet's major cities. They demanded humanity's surrender, threatening to annihilate the entire human race if they resisted. The world's leaders, helpless against the advanced alien forces, had no choice but to submit. It seemed as if Earth's fate was sealed. The Karath had come to enslave or wipe out humanity, and there was nothing the humans could do to stop them. But the Karath had underestimated humanity. Among the chaos, a small group of Earth's bravest men and women refused to give in. These weren't soldiers or generals, but ordinary humans, scientists, engineers, doctors, and even civilians who had no idea how to fight an advanced alien army. But they did know one thing: they loved their planet, and they weren't going to let it fall without a fight. This group of unlikely heroes, led by former soldier and engineer Captain Alex Carter, began to gather. They called themselves the Earth Defenders. The group was small, but they had something the Karath didn't: resourcefulness. They knew Earth's terrain better than anyone, and they had an innate ability to improvise in the face of danger. They began organizing resistance cells, hiding in underground bunkers, and gathering whatever weapons they could find. Captain Carter, a man who had fought in humanity's past wars, knew that facing the Karath head-on would be suicide. Instead, the Earth Defenders used guerrilla tactics, attacking the Karath from the shadows, sabotaging their supply lines, and striking where the aliens least expected it. With each small victory, humanity began to regain a sense of hope. The Karath had been overconfident in their ability to conquer the planet. They didn't understand that humans would never surrender without a fight. Over time, the Earth Defenders began to learn more about the Karath and their technology. They hacked into alien communication systems, reverse-engineered alien weapons, and studied the Karath's weaknesses. They weren't just fighting, they were learning and adapting. As they gathered more intel, they developed a plan to take down the Karath's command ship, the Titan, the heart of their invasion fleet. Captain Carter and his team launched a daring mission to infiltrate the Karath fleet and plant a virus into the Titan's control system. It was a risky plan, but it was humanity's best chance to strike at the core of the alien invaders. They managed to board the Titan using a stolen Karath transport ship and work their way to the central control room. Despite fierce resistance from the Karath soldiers, the Earth Defenders pressed on. The virus they planted was designed to cripple the Titan's systems, causing a total system failure and leaving the Karath fleet vulnerable. Just as they finished their mission, the Earth Defenders were forced to fight their way out, and a high-speed chase through the Titan's corridors ensued. In the end, they barely escaped the flagship before it went into chaos. As the virus began to spread through the Titan systems, the Karath lost control of their fleet. The once unstoppable invaders were now in disarray. Human forces, now better armed and equipped thanks to the Earth Defenders' ingenuity, launched a full-scale counteroffensive. Using tactics developed by the Defenders, Earth's military managed to exploit the chaos among the Karath forces. Slowly but surely, the humans gained ground. The turning point came when the Earth Defenders launched a final assault on the Karath's flagship. With their technology disrupted, the Karath were unprepared for the human attack. The Earth Defenders, supported by Earth's military, infiltrated the Titan once again. This time, they brought with them a new weapon, one they had developed by combining Earth's resources with the alien tech they had reverse-engineered. The weapon was a massive EMP device capable of disabling the Karath's most powerful weapon systems. In an intense final battle, the Earth Defenders planted the EMP device at the heart of the Titan. The weapon was activated, and the Karath flagship was rendered useless. Without their command ship, the Karath fleet was thrown into confusion. The humans, with the help of their alien allies, launched a final offensive and destroyed the Karath forces once and for all. The Karath were defeated, and the Earth Defenders were hailed as heroes. They had saved humanity and proven that even the most advanced alien force could be stopped by human ingenuity and determination. The Earth Defenders had shown that Earth was not a planet to be conquered, it was a planet that would fight for its survival. No matter the odds. In the aftermath, Earth's role in the galaxy changed. The once quiet planet was now recognized as a force to be reckoned with. The Earth Defenders became symbols of hope and resilience, inspiring other worlds to stand up against tyranny. Humanity had shown the galaxy that it was not weak, it was strong, adaptable, and capable of great things. And so, the Earth Defenders became legends. They weren't just a group of soldiers, they were the embodiment of humanity's spirit. They had fought for their planet, and they had won. The galaxy would never again underestimate Earth.